What's up, losers? Welcome back to the channel. We are headed off to the Whaka. So this year I am just doing the 50 rather than the 100. Kind of just to change it up a bit. I really like the idea of the 50 as a race, like 2.5 to 3 hours kind of area. Suits me pretty much down to the ground, so I was quite keen to give that a smash. And then I'll probably go back to the 100 next year. The only slight niggle I have is I managed to pull my intercostal muscles the other day, like muscles between my ribs, and it is not going away, and it's quite frustrating. So basically it hurts when I take a full breath in, which is fine, you know. You don't need to breathe for cross country anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. Just use my legs instead. But yeah, I'm fizzing for it. It should be a wicked weekend. But right now I'm just watching the boys do the 5k running race, the Wednesday night race, so we're gonna go and cheer them on. Yeah, boys, looking good. Alright, I'm just down at the shop, doing some last minute bits and pieces to the bike before the weekend. Just serviced the headset and clean and lube the pistons in the rear brake caliper, because I was getting some creaking in the headset after a big crash on the other weekend, and some disc rub on the rear brake, so sorted that out. But I just thought while I'm here I'd give you a quick bike check. I won't make it too long because I don't really care about these when I watch this kind of video, but I'll just show you what I'm riding, what kind of setup I'm with. So I've got a 2021 Scott Spark RC, pretty much all custom. I changed most of the parts on it, so I've got full XTR on there, the bike yoke Divine SL, lightweight dropper in it, got the carbon one-piece bar stem, which is pretty nice, and then got my industry known hubs on the Stan's carbon rim wheels built by myself. Definitely the highest spec bike I've ever owned. Kind of main goal with the build was to get under 12 kilo, which isn't ridiculous, but it's an XL bike, so it's pretty good for that. I think it's like 11.5, 11.7, something like that, so I'm pretty happy. So for tyres, I'm running the Rotorua Mezcals in a 29 by 2.35 front and rear. I haven't been on these tyres that long, but I'm super impressed, and I know I have to say that because I am sponsored by them, but honestly, they're the perfect mix of like rolling speed and grip, because they have this kind of almost consistent centre tread down the middle, so it almost acts like if you imagine like a fast rolling gravel tyre, it almost acts as like that kind of slick centre strip, and then you have obviously knobs on the side, so it's really good for cornering as well. So yeah, I've been thoroughly impressed with these. I reckon they're going to be perfect for it. But yeah, that's about it for the bike. I've also sorted out my nutrition. Not that I need anything crazy nutrition wise for what should be about a 2.5-3 hour race. Yeah, I've got 6 gels here and 1 thing of Cliff Blocks, so basing that off roughly 1 gel or 1 something every 20 minutes, half an hour-ish. I'll be doing pretty well to be able to eat that much, to be honest, in this race, because there's so much single track. It's actually a little bit tricky to get your hands off the bars in this race, but yeah, that should be good. I didn't have gels last year, and that resulted in a big bonk because I couldn't eat my solid food because there was too much single track and I couldn't get my hand off the bar. So hopefully quick to eat gels, and also having lycra pockets, like easy access gels, easy access food. Hopefully that'll make quite a big difference. But yeah, even if I stuff up the nutrition, 2.5-3 hours, it shouldn't really matter that much. Onwards. Can I get a whoop whoop? Yep, yep. Alright, we've arrived in Rotorua. Got here last night. Today is now Friday. So racing tomorrow. So just off on a quick warm-up ride, get the legs spinning again. Did like as little as I could to try and not agitate the ribs anymore. Whopping 11 k's, I think. Anyway, the Eliminator's on soon, the Eliminator National Champs, so we'll go watch that. Catch up with some people, check out the Victoria tent. I've just been over there and had a chat to the guys there. And then, yeah, big chicken and rice meal tonight, sleep up, smash it tomorrow.
Yeah, it looks like Joshua had that inside line through that corner.
Come on, boy!
And that's
Sorry, Christy, not far behind.
Go, KB! Yeah,
Come
boys.
on, bro!
Out on that course.
Did he hit his head?
On!
A little bit of a tangle up that rear rider.
Oh, don't give up!
Slowing it down.
Still got this.
Cruising through like Superman.
Yeah, boys!
One of the been over and locked.
Race day.
Race day, yeah!
It's crazy. I've been racing for like eight or 9 years now, through like all different disciplines, that need different like mindsets to do well in, and I still, like, every time I race I still get that nervous knot in my stomach and like can't eat breakfast, you know, all the rest of it. Yeah, but the closer it gets to race, the better it actually gets, because it's kind of like the riding part is easy. Like, I've done that a million times. That's what I'm good at, you know. Just getting your head around the racing and just trying to be in the right mindset for it is quite tricky. One of my GoPros went magically flat, which I only found out this morning, so I've got that on charge a little bit last minute. Go toilet and then, yeah, race time. So this year I made damn sure to get there nice and early so I could be right at the front of wave 1, and I did it. I was like first in line. I thought, shit yes, perfect position, couldn't get better than this. And then I realised that they placed the people who did the eliminator the day before in front of us, so I still ended up like 4 rows back, which is a little bit unfortunate, but is what it is. I didn't do the eliminator, that's on me. So there we go, we are off and racing. The start was pretty hectic, as you'd expect with a shorter race like this. So yeah, nothing out of the ordinary there. The only slight criticism I would have is that they could have done with a longer start loop, and one that was a little bit wider, so that you could actually get into a kind of appropriate order of riders before going into the single track, and it just gets really clogged up from there. But yeah, it's just something you have to deal with on the day.
Yeah, man! Get up,
Now, I wasn't by any means unhappy with where I ended up in the bunch. I mean, we're all riding really fucking hard. We're all going at a real decent clip. But I think I probably could have survived a bit of a faster start, as in I think I could have been a bit further up the bunch and been okay. Because you just know that when you're in a big strung out line like this, the guys in the front are probably getting a gap on you, because they're not getting that ripple effect of everyone slowing down for corners and sprinting out of them, all the rest of it. As the group started to sort of settle into a pace though, and everyone sort of found their rhythm, it was time to start passing some people who had gone out a little bit quick. So yeah, we started passing a few people, and before long, literally I would say probably 15 minutes into the race, we'd already caught e-bikers who started 10 minutes ahead of us, so we were definitely on the move. You can even hear the South African guy on the side here in utter disbelief that we'd caught him so soon and were going as fast as we were.
Holy fucking shit.
So eventually we got to some passing opportunities. I didn't get on camera, but I just passed a whole group of people up this little 4-wheel drive pinch. You can see I'm catching this guy here. So I'm basically just on this big passing spree, trying to catch back up or get as close as I can to that front group of probably 5 or 6, I imagine. Finally made it into some clear space once I'd kind of gotten away from the group I was in, and if there's anything I learned from last year, it's the nutrition side of things. So as soon as I had the opportunity, I was sucking back a gel and recuperating for a moment before I started trying to carry on and chase those front guys. But unfortunately, as many of you will know, I never saw those front guys because in an unfortunate turn of events on the next downhill, I took the wrong turn and went about 100 metres downhill before realising I'd gone the wrong way, and that's where this video starts. So in a split-second decision, I decided that the best way to get back on track was to just use all my cyclocross skills from the winter, gap it across all this like fallen trees and debris back onto the road, and then join back up with the course. But yeah, probably 15 people came back past me. I think I ended up back in 20th or so. It was brutal, man. It was really grim. So obviously there's a lot of stuff going through my head at the moment. I'm angry at myself mostly for missing the turn. I feel like an idiot. I'm feeling pretty gassed because I basically just sprinted back up, and you know, your first thought is immediately like, oh my god, I need to get back to where I was. So you're expending all this energy to go nowhere basically. So I'm feeling super tired, but the race is nowhere near over yet, and it's not going to do me any good dwelling on it. So I kind of just have to reset and make a game plan for the rest of the race and get cracking again and just get back in it. And then I went the wrong way again. Well, I didn't actually go the wrong way. It turns out it was just a beeline, but it was a really long beeline. So I didn't realise it was going back onto the same track. So I turned back. This happened like 2 more times because there were a whole bunch of different places where the track was split in this race, and there were A and B lines, and one was very much faster than the other, and obviously not being a local, I didn't know which was which. So this obviously just added to the frustration, but I never lost my head about it. It was just annoying. So after 15 minutes or so, I started to feel a bit more like myself again. My heart rate had gone back to normal. I was feeling strong. So yeah, it was time to try and catch up to the people that had all passed me when I went the wrong way.
On the right when you're ready.
Annoyingly, we were just passing e-biker after e-biker this whole race. It was probably not really the greatest idea that they only set them off 10 minutes before us, but it is what it is. And after what felt like ages of chugging away on my own, I eventually caught back to the guys that I had sort of been just in front of when I went the wrong way, which was a real relief. It was good to know that I was actually moving faster than them, even though they were a big group. And it also meant that if I could get past everyone in that group, I would make up quite a lot of places. So it was a really good feeling to see these guys again. So I start to move through this group, and I've literally passed this guy on the right 3 times now. I've got video proof for every single time. So when I say I had some cock-ups in this race, I mean it, man. It was annoying. After that last downhill, we hit the biggest climb of the race. Not that that's saying much, because there aren't many big hills in this race. There's just a lot of cumulative elevation. But it was basically like a 15-minute gravel road climb into this single track at the top. That was good. I passed the guy I'd been riding with, and then we caught another guy and I passed him too. So now I'm up into 7th, and we're about to do the 5 or 6k downhill that is split ends, legendary track. So I wanted to make sure I got to that first.
Okay, it's a big climb out of the way. Time for a big descent.
I'd also swapped GoPros at this point because my first one ran out of battery, Unfortunately, this one doesn't have quite as good a stabilisation, so the footage is a little bit shaky from here on. So we're now within 10k to go, and I would just like to draw attention to this bit of trail here, and the difference between last year doing the 100 and this year doing the 50. So yeah, I was having a much better time this year. Or at least I was up until the 5k mark, and the last real bit of climbing for the day.
Oh, fuck, I'm cramping bad. Oh my god. Oh.
But I wasn't going to let some tight muscles stop me now. I was almost finished and it was time to bring it home.
As we see another rider come through for the muscle bikes in the 50 category. That is Seamus. Well done, Seamus.
Nice one.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks, mate.
How does it feel across the finish line?
Very good. I was getting very painful cramps.
Well, those cramps could be over soon. You have a bit of a stretch. What else are you looking forward to about being back?
Oh, not riding the bike anymore.
Yeah, you've earned time off the bike. You're GoProing this whole thing.
Sure am.
Shout out to the crew behind the scenes.
Yeah, mate.
Where's that going to go?
YouTube.
Shout out to YouTube.
Here we
Good
go.
to have you back, Seamus.
Thanks,
Well
man.
done on a good race.
Alright, so 2 days after Whaka, I'm just going on a little leg spinning ride after 13 hours of travelling yesterday to get back. It takes fucking ages to travel between Rotorua and Nelson with the ferry crossing and the driving. Oh, this looks like a nice log to sit on. We'll call this the debrief log. Well, obviously elephant in the room, going the wrong way, not ideal. It was on a downhill, there was a split. The right line was what we were supposed to take. The left line was the way the track actually normally goes, so it's kind of the more obvious line, but I just wasn't really looking. Yeah, definitely dropped some expletives, and then even though videoing and letting people know my mistake was the fucking last thing I wanted to do at that point in time, I knew I had to start videoing because I was like, it's gonna be funny at some point. Not yet, but it will be at some point. The race so far sort of caught up with me, and my legs just fucking turned to concrete straight away because you just suddenly get this feeling of hopelessness of like, oh, I'm not going to get the result I was expecting to get before I started. So anything now is a failure almost, is what it feels like. If you let that linger in your head for too long, you might not even finish the race, or else you're going to have a shit time. So luckily I know that now from 8 years of racing. So it sucked, but I realised I just had to. You pretty much just have to forget about it as soon as you can, reset, and yeah, just go from there. As a racer, you have to have that little part of you that's dissatisfied with pretty much every result, because that's what makes you go out and start training again, and that's what makes you want to be better, and that's what drives you a lot of the time. But you've also got to not shit on every result you get. You know, you got to take it for what it is. Let yourself be proud of parts of the race that you did well, and yeah, just kind of have that healthy balance of those two ways of looking at it. My ribs still hurt like a bitch. Those painkillers must have done a real good job on race day, because I could feel them all day, my ribs, but they were kind of the least of my problems really. Thankful for that, but man, really been showing themselves this ride. Hope you sort of took something away from the race mentality chat. That's something I like to do a bit more, because I think that's the most interesting thing about racing or endurance sports is people's mental states and how they deal with certain things. Yeah. Till next time, ciao.